This episode of On the Limb with Nature's Voice Game Calls is brought to you by Outdoor Pro Shop, LLC. Outdoor Pro Shop is a family-owned and operated firearms dealer and sporting goods retailer. They have pay-over-time options, a rewards program, and customer service satisfaction that is unmatched. They might not be the biggest, but they strive to be the best. Contact them today at 240-360-1298 or visit them on the web at www.outdoor-pro-shop.com. That's Outdoor Pro Shop, 240-360-1298.
Folks, welcome to another episode of On the Limb Podcast with Nature's Voice Game Calls, where deer camp becomes a reality for every listener. Join us as we talk God, family, country, and everything outdoors. Kick back, relax, and have a listen. Now, here's your host and co-host, Mike and Dan.
Wow, what a summer it's been. Caleb's back in the house this evening. How you doing, Caleb?
Pretty good.
Pretty good. He had to get back into groove here a little bit.
Yeah.
He's been out of town working a lot, so glad to have you back in the studio. Dan's out this evening. He's held up at work, so.
Imagine that.
Imagine that, huh? So, and it's been a crazy hot summer so far. Been in, past, 3 weeks to a month? Been in 90s?
Yeah, I'm sure that that sounds like AC compared to Florida right now.
Yeah, I'm sure it does. Of course, the humidity I don't think is that bad down there. Maybe it is, maybe it ain't. I don't know. But like here, where we're in this Chemical Valley area,
Right now, the past week has been awful.
yeah. I mean, it's just like you go outside and you can't hardly breathe.
Yeah.
So, but mornings and evenings, we've been out bass fishing on the weekends, some in the evenings, and been catching bass. They're still hitting good in the mornings. It's been, there was a couple mornings there. It was like 63.
Man.
Last week, I think, or week before last. But then, you're not getting out of the 80s now in the mornings and the night. So, but so if you love to take photos like I do when you're hunting and fishing, that's what everybody's like. Oh, you're gonna hunt? Or you're gonna take photos? But I love doing it, and so you'll get a taste of that this evening with West Virginia native Mark Bias. With his wildlife photography business. Mark is known for the amazing photography and the photographs that you see that's helped document the elk restoration project here in West Virginia and the Mountain States. So you'll hear about that here in a little bit. Our newest partner, AquaCase, you can visit them at aquacase.net and use promo code podcast15 at checkout for 15% off your entire order. And they are your waterproof case and bag experts. Be sure to check us out on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Amazon Music, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts. And don't forget about Podcast 10 at outdoor-pro-shop.com for 10% off of your entire order. So, without further ado, please welcome with me, Mark Bias with Mark's Photo Wildlife Photography. Mark, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Mike. How are you guys doing today?
We're doing good. You coming in from Florida down there in the hot and steamy Sunshine State.
Yeah, just a little warm down here, only about 110, so we're doing good.
110. Oh, my goodness. That's crazy.
Yeah, so hopefully it's supposed to start cooling down, so hopefully it will soon.
Yeah. So we were just talking there before we brought you on, is the humidity pretty bad down there?
It's actually not too bad. You get the breeze off the ocean. We're about 3 miles inland, so we can get a nice breeze, that's coming off, and it'll cool it down a little bit, but then nighttime it just gets really stuffy. Nothing's moving.
Yeah.
And the humidity really gets you.
Well, Dan just texted in and said that he'd be able to be on this evening, so I'm going to add him in on the call. Hold on just a second.
Okay.
Hello.
Did you get them guys out of there?
What's that?
You get them guys out of there so you can be on?
Well, I'm just got done setting the camper up.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I'm trying to get my Wi-Fi hooked up right now. That's the last thing I got.
I hear you. Well, we've got Mark on here.
Okay.
So we're just talking about, the hot weather down there in Florida. He said it's about 110 right now. Your dad's down there. He lives in Florida.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it's 114 in Missouri right now. Yeah.
Ooh.
Dang.
I'm over it.
I'd say heat index is what? 130?
Well, that's with the heat index.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Well, Dan,
It's
Dan, my
100.
real
The heat index
question.
is 115.
Dan, my real question is, what's the temperature inside the cab of that AC truck you sit in all day?
It's nice to have that, but I tell you what, I got to lift the hood up on that black truck.
Oh, all right, Mark. So let's get back to you. So just for our listeners, give us a brief background on how you got started in wildlife photography.
Well, I started in photography back in '86 and was doing some work for the Army Corps of Engineers and several ended up doing work for other government agents. And then in 2008, I started doing a lot of work here in Florida for the Corps. And whenever I started doing that, that ended up, they like to get wildlife stuff to prove that what they're doing is not affecting the wildlife. So I used to hunt and things like that. So it gave me an excuse to start going hunting and things. But I hunt with a camera, not with a gun anymore.
I hear you.
And so I hunt year round.
Yeah, I mean, that right there might be my fix for the summertime because
taking pictures
in the summertime I go through the blues.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's always something to shoot down here in Florida. They get a lot of the migrating birds, that type of thing. West Virginia, doing the elk. There's different seasons for the elk. So, you got them whenever they've shed and they start growing their velvet and they start rubbing their velvet off. Then you go through the rut and it's a cycle. You got seasons where you can go find calves and go find fawns and things like that. So it's a lot of fun.
So is that mainly what you're photographing there in Florida, is the birds and stuff like that, or is it just, especially with the project we'll talk here in a little bit, but
it's mostly with the projects down here that I do, and then that expands into watching bald eagles nest for them and things like that. It kind of grows into that they need for their social media and things to prove that, hey, we're out here working on this and we're not affecting the wildlife and we're getting wildlife better. But and again, I'm photographing the construction projects of what they're doing and do that on a monthly basis to show the progress and all.
Nice.
So a lot of PR, public relations.
Yeah, especially with the wildlife stuff now, and a lot of the stuff around Lake Okeechobee, where they have the algae blooms and things like that. That's part of a lot of this that I'm photographing here.
Okay.
It stop a lot of that and big projects, real big projects.
So do you live there in Florida, or are you just back and forth from Florida to West Virginia?
Well, I've also got projects in other Corps of Engineers districts I do. So I have projects in Pittsburgh District, Huntington District, Nashville District, Louisville District. So I come back to West Virginia once a month.
Nice.
My wife is from Logan, so that's right where the elk are.
Yeah.
So and that's where the grandbabies are. So it gives me an excuse to come back, go see the grandbabies, get to run out on the hill for 3 or 4 days and see how the elk are doing, and then photograph other things too.
Yeah, you got to come home to see them grandbabies.
Oh yeah. One of them, she likes to go back there with me to see the elk. I think she's going to take over the job, my business whenever I don't want it anymore.
Oh man, that'd be awesome. That'd be a great way to hand it down.
Yeah, but she's 7 years old right now, so but she's been going for about 3 years with me back there.
Well, that's how you keep the kids in the outdoors, though.
Yep,
that's it. And she really enjoys it. She can tell you the difference between tracks we find and even scat. She's starting to learn how to tell what scat, if it's bear scat, coyote scat, or whatever.
Nice. Go ahead, Mike.
I was just going to go ahead and start hitting on the elk project here in West Virginia that you're.
Yeah.
So, that's the elk has been 100-year absence from the Mountain State. Elk are making a comeback here in West Virginia, and so folks love to go see those at the the Tomlin elk management area there.
Yeah.
Is that where most of you take your pictures at, or is it all over that?
Yeah, the elk are there. They're on a couple active mine sites surrounding that. So the elk are mainly on there. But, whenever you think that Tomlin is about 26,000 acres, so that's roughly 40 square miles. So sometimes it gets hard to find whenever you only got 140 elk to get out and find them and take pictures. So it's and they can go anywhere. They can go onto private property. Some of them have wandered as far down as Harts Creek, where that is, down in Lincoln County.
Oh,
Dang.
wow. Yeah, I've done some jobs down there. I know exactly where Harts Creek is.
That's crazy.
Yep, several of the cows will travel out to have calves and will eventually work their way back with their calves and be there. Usually by August they start coming back in because it's getting close to the rut. And but they will wander a little bit. They had a couple bulls that ended up in Kentucky for a bit.
Oh, wow.
See, now, I can't, it's been 12, 13, 14 years ago. We was doing a job on Hobart.
Yep.
And coming out the haul road there, I looked up in the woods because, you always see something out Hobart. Just driving through there, you'll see deer, turkey, whatever. And I stopped and I looked and I kept looking. I'm like, that's awfully big, So I grabbed the binoculars out of the glove box and I scoped it out. It was an elk, undistinguishable, different color pattern in the rump and the chest.
Yep.
So that was before the introduction, the reintroduction too. So that's always good to see. Like you said, they travel a lot.
Yep. There was a cow that was untagged and all, so it's not a West Virginia one, was in the Salt Rock area.
Okay.
Okay.
And so they will travel around.
That's pretty good bit away there from the Kentucky line.
Well, if you think about it, across there, from, they can come across there around, what is it? Inez is where they come from.
Oh, okay.
That's a big elk over there. So they just come over lovely Kentucky, short little hop across the river there. They can be over, in West Virginia and into West Virginia real quick. So, and in that area over around Inez is where Kentucky originally turned loose their first elk. Was there near Big Sandy Airport.
Okay.
Yep.
So, talking about the reintroduction, in late December of 2016, they released 24 elk secured from Land Between the Lakes recreation area in western Kentucky. So wild elk were roaming the mountains of West Virginia for the first time in over 140 years.
Yep.
And then also we had the subsequent releases from Land Between the Lakes and Arizona in 2018, which gave us an additional releases from Land Between the Lakes completed in 2024. So with all that, what's our population is between 140, 150 elk in West Virginia?
Yeah, about 140, 150, somewhere right in there right now. There's some distinct areas where there's actually some small herds. I've seen as many as 29 and 30 in groups, especially during the rut. They'll herd up to big herds like that.
Yeah. So with DNRs, I mean, they obviously they got a big hand in this. So they're obviously doing all the recordings of calf births and all that. As of now, we've had a little over 60, or right at 60.
Yeah, I think the last black tag I saw was 66 or 67.
Nice.
Was the last black tag that I've seen. And 3 years ago, I photographed, was it 3 years ago or 4 years ago? I photographed the first black tag. It was number 2. She was the second one tagged. She was black tag number 2, and she had a calf. So that was the first full generation of born bred, and then the second generation started. So that was about 4 years ago.
Nice. Now, what do they do? Different color tags, or?
Yeah, if you see them, orange tag are the ones from Land Between the Lake from the first release and the 2018 release. And then there's the yellow tag are Arizona. Black tag are all West Virginia. And white tag are the ones they released in 24.
Okay, so that's the newest ones. So which ones has the easiest transition there, you think?
What I'm saying is the ones from Land Between the Lakes seem to do the best. We've got some cows there that I think are pushing 11, 12 years old that have calves this year.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
That's nice.
So they have seemed to do real well. It seemed like the Arizona elk had a harder to try to assimilate to the land. It was totally different from what they were used to.
Yeah. And I think that has an effect on the travel time as well. Arizona's a good chunk away.
Yeah, Arizona's a good chunk away. And at that time, that was the last elk, I think, that was allowed to be transported across state lines. If memory, and I may be wrong, and there's other people that can correct me on this, but that was the last one because of CWD that was allowed service to be transported across state lines, and they literally had to put them in trucks and drive them nonstop to West Virginia.
Yeah.
And then they had to quarantine them, and they had problems with that because the quarantine was so long that I guess some of the cows aborted their calves from stress. And so the first year or 2 years of Arizona, they weren't really that productive at first.
Well, Mark, we're going to take a break real quick here, word from our sponsor. We'll be right back, and we'll talk more on this elk project before we hit your work there in Florida.
Not a problem.
This episode of On the Limb with Nature's Voice Game Calls is brought to you by Apparition Scents, an outdoor and sporting goods company based in Dilliner, Pennsylvania. All of their scents developed and hand-bottled with strict attention being paid to every detail. Contact them today at 724-998-7646 or check them out at apparitionscents.com. 100% lethal or your money back guaranteed. Get a hold of them today at 724-998-7646 or check them out at apparitionscents.com. All right, guys, we're back with Mark Bias, Mark's Photo Wildlife Photography, and we're going to talk a little bit more on the elk project, and then we'll hit what he's currently working on there in Florida. So I got a question.
Right after the salute.
Yeah, right after the salute. Let me give me a chance here, brother. Gosh.
Yeah, there was no chance. You blew your chance because you was getting ready to go right into it. I had a question.
No, I was going to say I got a question after Dan does the salute, bro.
We'll see.
Goodness gracious.
Yeah.
Being in that heat gets Dan all antsy in his pants.
I guess that's what it is, Lord.
Right.
Trigger happy.
Anyway, so tonight our salute to valor is going out to Roy C. Mitchell, United States Army, Company A, 4th Engineer Battalion, 4th Infantry Division, in company with the 42nd Army Republic of Vietnam Rangers. He served from 1968 to 1969 in Vietnam. He was awarded a Purple Heart, National Defense Service Medal, Vietnam Service Medal, Bronze Star with a V for heroism in Vietnam, 3 overseas bars, Marksman Rifle Badge, and he was in action in January of 1968 on Hill 824.
So what is...
We appreciate your service.
What is Hill 824?
It was, man, you'd ask me that. I know it because it's in a lot of Vietnam history movies and shows, what have you.
Yeah, because I've seen that. Go ahead.
I'm trying to think what exactly.
Well, I seen that in the description there for it, and I was like, I wonder what that is. I didn't even have time to look it up, but I figured you'd know.
I'll know here in about 3 seconds.
He gonna look it up. Well, anyways, thank you, Mr. Mitchell, for your service, and God bless you, sir.
Okay, that was what they called the Wall of Faces.
Oh, okay. I have heard of it called that.
I think that's what it was, right? Let me hold on. Now, continue on. I got to research now.
All right. Anyways, so Mark, back to you with elk. There, I got a question now that the salute's done. So have you ever photographed one of the elk as they were losing their antlers, as they were in the shed?
I have not. I've got pictures of some of them only carrying one.
Oh man!
And then I did photograph. If you look at my logo, I have that's Orange Bull number 8.
Okay,
that is my logo.
Awesome.
And I did take pictures of him on one day this fall. Next day they were gone, and Jake Wimmer, that is the manager at Tomlin, was able to find both sheds.
Oh yeah, we know Jake.
That don't surprise me. Jake is a shed hunting fool.
Yep. Jake is a bloodhound whenever it comes to
yes, he is.
And,
he is. Yep. He's a good guy.
Yep. So he was able to find both of them. And
now,
go ahead.
What do they do with those? Because I know you're not allowed to take them out.
Yeah, you can't. It's because they're a protected animal. You're not allowed to take any part of any elk out because of being a protective animal. But they're using those at the visitor center that they're building. That they will end up using them in there. But then also, because this is 40 square miles, there's elk that I may see this year and get the photograph, and might not see them for 2 more years, and then all of a sudden they show back.
Wow.
Yeah.
So they know with the GPS collars that they have that they're alive, where they're moving through and things like that, but nobody may see them.
Yeah.
But if they can find a shed, then they can do some of the genetics, some of the testing on that shed to see that they're getting the right, what I'm told, they can get the information from that on how the elk are doing. And then now why they're all GPS collared is because I think West Virginia has the only wild elk herd that's not hunted now in the U.S. And they're using them as a test bed for about CWD, brainworm. We actually have elk that are brainworm survivors.
Oh, really?
Oh, wow.
So they're able to get what I'm told, they're able to get the antibodies. That's going to WVU and I think Tennessee University. I may be wrong on that.
Man, that's awesome.
And those universities are trying to come up with some type of cure. So, it's going to be a while before they're hunted because they want to have probably 300, a herd of 300 like Virginia before they do the first hunt. But they're really not there for us. They're for the next generations down the road whenever there'll be a whole lot more of them. Like in Kentucky's got 15,000,
Yeah.
Right.
Well, Kentucky.
Now, how does that work? Like, even if they're tagged, I mean, obviously, like I said, they will travel, and somebody kills one in Kentucky.
They, I guess I don't know that much up on Kentucky, but I know they do a lottery for elk tags. Virginia does the same thing. Virginia have an elk area kind of like West Virginia does, but if one of the elk goes out of that elk area, and you can kill it as a deer.
Oh
wow!
And that's happened a couple times in Virginia.
Where they keep those elk in Virginia, Mark?
That'd be the best deer ever.
Yeah.
Happened, I think, twice down there. I may be wrong, but I think it's been twice that's happened down And then they do a 5-tag lottery in Virginia, and I think Kentucky was 900 this year that they were doing, and then Pennsylvania is somewhere around 100, I think, tags that they do.
Man, I'd love to see their population compared to ours since they've reintroduced them. I know Kentucky's been it's been over 10 years now, right?
Yeah, so they've been really aggressive. I think they started putting them in around 2011, but I don't know. But I remember reading that they put in, Mark, correct me if I'm wrong on this, but they put 3,000 elk in 3 consecutive years. So they stocked 3,000, 3,000, 3,000, and I think in like 6 years they were like, yeah, like we can open this up. Correct me if I'm wrong though, but I'm pretty sure I read that.
I was around whenever I was doing some work down in Eastern Kentucky whenever they turned them loose.
Mm-hmm.
And it was, I think in 96, they brought in the first 1,500.
Okay.
And turned them loose. And then from there, they started bringing them in, but I think they ended up bringing them from like 7 states at that time.
Wow.
That they brought them in from.
Man, that's crazy.
And now, elk is, I know there's a group that's wanting to see elk in Ohio again. And the chances of them being able to get elk, I think, are going to be slim to none to get amount of elk from other states because of the lottery systems and everything. And that they're all going to. It's going to be hard, really hard for them to do it. I think West Virginia, I think, was the last state to start an elk herd. And then because of the CWD, our herd is only growing by what it self-produces by some calf. So it's been a slow go compared to some of the others.
Yeah, I can only imagine it's a lot harder to like try and start an elk herd now, like, as an independent state, because I mean, just from what I've heard, there's a lot of red tape, because of that, in regards to moving elk across state lines.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. Whenever they brought in the one from Kentucky, the last ones in 2024, they brought 20 at a time. They brought 40. They brought 20 bulls and 20 cows, and they could only bring 20 at a time. They could put 10 bulls in one trailer and 10 cows in another, and then they had to go back down. And that's only because they got overpopulated because of COVID. They couldn't do anything with the elk then in Land Between the Lakes, so they were getting overpopulated with them in that area.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And
next time they do that, they can call me.
I wish they were like axis deer. I mean, the axis deer, man, they like reproduce like crazy.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
An elk calf, whenever it's born in June, July, it's usually they're 2 years old before they're bred for the first time.
Oh wow! Man,
and then your bulls, you've got your herd bulls that are your 8, 9, 10-year-old bulls. The 5, 6, 7-year-old bulls down here are just your satellite bulls. So you've only got a few bulls that's doing all your breeding.
Yeah.
And then it's I have learned so much because, believe it or not, whenever Randy Kelly took me out to photograph the first 24, we went out on the hill, and I was able, one morning, I saw the first 2 calves born in the state of West Virginia.
Nice.
And 18 out of the 22, which is, that's kind of unheard of.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
And it was the middle of September, and there was a big bull, number 9, and there's one picture I took of him that is my first picture of an elk really doing that bugle, and it's the first time I'd ever heard it bugle in the wild. I'd seen him on TV and things like that, so I had never seen an elk in the wild before. and it really I got hooked on them, and it's been a blast to be a part of the project. That the DNR has allowed me to be a part of the project and get to go out and photograph these things.
Speaking of photographing them, what's one of your favorite pictures of the elk that you shot?
I got a bunch.
Yeah.
Like asking Kevin Van Dam which fishing rod's his favorite.
There's the one of bull number 9 that he is doing a bugle as he's walking over the hillside or down over the hill, walking over the ridge, and that has out to be a good one. And I'll text it to you guys when I'm done here. And then there was a couple this winter that I was able to get whenever there was snow on the ground. It was a real heavy frost. It would have been, trying to think, it was maybe February.
I think I might have seen that on your page.
Yeah, and I got several pictures of different bulls and some cows and stuff that literally were standing there and they had frost on their heads.
Oh yeah,
and things like that. That that it was right after daylight, and I guess they had just come up out of the bed and they still had frost on their backs and everything. And that's some of my favorite. And then calves. I've got a lot of calf pictures.
Now, how close are you getting to these when you're taking the photos?
I try to stay at least 100 to 150 yards minimum away from, or max minimum away from them. I don't want to get close to them because then you spook them and they take off, and you don't get what you want or whatever.
Sure.
And so I've got an 800 millimeter lens that I use, which is it's 800 millimeter 5.6 Canon lens, and I use that quite a bit. And then sometimes if I'm mobile and I'm moving a lot, I use a 100 to 400 zoom. That if I'm going out some of the ridges, because sometimes I'll spot them, and then I'll try to get in front of them. And so carrying a 15-pound lens and a camera body hung on it on a tripod, going through the woods, I make more noise and stuff. So sometimes I'll go with the lighter lens and try to get around to them. And but it's I don't try to get close, but the lens looks like I'm standing there right on top.
Right beside of them, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, along with this amazing elk project that we're doing here in West Virginia that you've got to showcase, tell us about some of your current work that you're doing there in Florida with the Everglades and the Army Corps of Engineers.
I'm working on a couple projects down here with the Corps of Engineers. I do progress photos for them, but it also turns into the wildlife stuff because they want that for their PR.
Oh yeah.
And one of the projects I've got in South Florida right now, which is right on the northern side of the Hollyland wildlife management area. And it's in the sugarcane fields, and they're building a stormwater impoundment that they'll be able to pump a half an inch of water off Lake Okeechobee and hold it in this impoundment that they're building.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
So
a lot of water.
Yeah. Well, the job site is the size of the city limits of Washington, D.C.
Holy moly.
So whenever I drive on the job site, I'll drive 30 to 60 miles and never leave the job site in a day, just driving around the job site to work areas that's going on there.
Man.
So, and this is what they call the EAA. It's Everglades Agricultural Area. And it's kind of south of Belglade, west of Lauderdale, Fort Lauderdale. And
nice.
I'll have to ask the old man about it. I'm sure he's up on it. He lives just north of Lauderdale.
Yeah, well, and I also did the other big project I did for them down here is the cutoff wall that they put in the levee that goes around Lake Okeechobee.
Mm.
And from 2008 to September 08 to September 23, I photographed that once a month. That project. And they put in a wall inside the levee that's about 4 foot wide, 60 foot deep, and about 10 miles long.
Goodness gracious!
Yeah.
Wow.
Plus replaced all the structures like the culverts and things that.
Yeah.
A lot of those they replaced all those too.
Mm.
I've seen Caleb's face over here. He's wondering if you've dropped any pins and where you've seen big flocks of turkey.
There's not big flocks of turkeys in that country. They're there, but golly.
He said there's big flocks of people.
Yeah, but you get in the center part of Florida.
Yeah, that's the key.
It's all cattle, and that's where your turkeys and stuff are.
Yeah.
And in 3 days, I photographed turkeys this spring. In 3 days in Florida, Tennessee, and West Virginia. In 3 days.
That's pretty awesome.
So,
That's good.
but yeah, I know where some big turkeys are down here.
Well, I tell you, if you're able to get a man some permission.
I know where some big deer. People say there's no big deer in Florida, but I know where some big deer are.
Really?
There are some.
Oh yeah.
You wouldn't
dropping
think it,
them
but
on
there
that
are.
fence.
Yeah, you wouldn't think it, but there actually are some monsters.
They're big enough. I photographed them out of a helicopter. Let's put it that way.
Holy moly!
Good Lord.
Yeah. So, and so it's there is a lot of big deer down here.
I know the last time I hunted South Florida, we went around Lake O, and this was year before last, and it took me 6 days to find an Osceola, like a goblin turkey, and
Really?
I yelped it in. Yeah, like now I was hunting big cypress.
Okay.
So I was as south as it gets, I guess. As far as where the turkeys actually are, from what I've been told. But it took me 6 days, and I struck the turkey from the hardtop road. I walked a 3-mile loop in there, called it into 6 yards, just for it to come up on my weak side, and my buddy Luke was filming off to my right, so I had to swing across him to try and shoot at it, and I mean, it just spooked and it got away. So that was like that was the third or fourth Osceola, public land Osceola, got away from me until last year, and then I tagged out in Florida and was like, I'll never go back. I've accomplished what I needed, and I'll never do it.
You just needed that one.
I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. You hate someone? Send them to Florida to turkey hunt.
Do you know where Hollow Paw, Florida is?
I do not.
Okay, it's Central Florida,
Mm-hmm.
North of Okeechobee, probably 40 miles.
Okay.
There's several WMAs in there, and a lot of cattle in that area. And
he's pulling out the OnX map as we speak.
I bet I've got some pins in there.
I would be driving down through there going to Okeechobee, and I'd be looking out in the fields and going, "Oh wow, there's 3 gobblers out there strutting, and over on this side there's 2, and they were everywhere down through there."
Yeah.
And now, last month when I drove down, I was seeing a lot of the hens with poults running around.
Mm. Yeah, I tell you, I've got a love-hate relationship with Florida. I don't know what it is, but yeah, I don't know what it is, but I've had some great success there as far as like getting on turkeys. Just a matter of getting them killed. That's been real difficult until this year. Finally, everything checked out in my favor twice, actually. But I tell you, if you know anyone down there in Florida, with private land, or if someone with private land in Florida is watching this,
We need your
Holla-
address and phone
holla
number,
at you,
please.
boy. Well, they just changed a bunch of rules down there about out of staters coming in to hunt. I don't know if you're familiar with those, Mark.
Oh yeah.
So the traveling turkey hunter is a upward trending thing.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So I probably will not be going back to Florida this year or ever.
Yeah.
There's going to be more turkey hunters going to Florida than there is retirees.
And you got to go to Central Florida because, I mean, everybody wants to move along the beaches. So, 75, I-75, I-95, where I'm at here, is just building up like crazy.
Yeah.
It is.
That's the biggest thing about Florida. It's just people just keep building and expanding and expanding and
Condos.
Oh, yeah.
They're putting in tons and tons of condos.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, in the county we're in, I think last year they built 4,000 houses.
Oh, gosh.
And whenever we moved down here, population was around 60,000 in Palm Coast, and now it's about 100. It's over 100,000.
wow.
So that was from 2016, and it really blew up during COVID. Everybody could work from home, so why work from home in Michigan where it's cold?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I'll do my work on the beach.
Yeah. So, but it's a nice place. We kind of like it down here because of the weather. But I think whenever my contracts are up, we'll start working our way back north. We've got property, and my wife has a house in Logan still, and I've got property up on Route 2 up in Lesage where I grew up.
Okay.
Got the farm up there where I grew up as a kid. My dad grew up as a kid.
Nice.
That's where I used to hunt and things.
So while on that project down there in Florida in the Everglades, what's your what have you captured that's memorable to you?
Some big bobcats running around on that job site.
Really?
Oh yeah,
I believe that.
Yeah, there's some bobcats we were able to spot from the helicopter and come in and get them. Lots of coyotes on that job site. But it is in the sugarcane fields, and if you look on Google Earth for the southeast part of Florida, or below the southeast part there below Lake Okeechobee, and just east of it, U.S. Sugar has all of that, and they even have their own railroad to bring the cane in out of the fields.
Wow.
It's that big.
That's crazy.
And it's I think 10% or something like that of the world's sugar is raised there.
That's funny because not a lot of people know this. Florida is the largest cattle producing state in the U.S. as well.
Always has been.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People's like, oh no, it's Nebraska. They got all them feedlots. No, it's actually Florida. Has been for a long time.
Cattle.
And West Virginia used to have a lot of drag lines mining coal.
Yep.
A lot of them are here in Florida mining phosphate now.
Wow, that's super.
Yeah. Yeah, they're big phosphate mines south of Orlando, going over towards Tampa, across that part of the state. There's some big mines. They'll have 4 big drag lines, the big walking drag lines working on them.
Oh, dang. I did not know that.
Yeah, it's a big state.
Yeah.
That it is.
I'm 100 from the Florida border and still 389 miles from Miami.
Yeah.
It's a big state. But part of the issue of what I'm doing with the Corps, like back in the day, they actually come in. You could come in your boat in Jacksonville on the St. Johns River from the ocean.
Yeah.
And you could follow the St. Johns and then get in the canal system, and you could go all the way to Lake Okeechobee, right down the middle of Florida.
Oh yeah. Yep.
That's cool. Nice.
And So now they found out that they really screwed that up whenever they did that. So now they're going in and replacing the Kissimmee River back into they're filling the channel in that they dug and putting it back into where it will go into the floodplain and high water events instead of all being straight shot into Lake Okeechobee.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
So that's a lot of the projects and stuff I'm doing down here, and a lot of it is the environmental, the Picayune Strand, where the panthers are. There is supposedly a panther on this job site I've been on. I haven't seen it. The Florida Fish and Wildlife said it's there, and they've been looking for it. They've not found it yet. But if you've ever been in a sugarcane field that's, 10 square miles and how thick they are,
probably easy to hide.
It'll hide and you'll never see it.
I guarantee it, yeah.
So you also do product pictures for some outdoor companies to showcase their products here in the Mountain State and abroad. You don't care to tell our listeners where they can contact you for those services or any other services you offer.
Okay. I'm on Facebook under Mark's Photo Wildlife Photography. Also, I have a page in my name, Mark's Photo. They can personal message me, and it also has my phone number on those, so they can give me a call if they'd like. I'm on Instagram at Mark Bias Wildlife Photography. Somebody already had Mark's Photo for some reason, but I'm on Mark Bias Photography, and you can see a lot of the different diversity of wildlife that I photograph. A lot of the stuff down here in Florida. We're going to go to the Outer Banks, my wife and I, and we like that. And I'm going to kind of scout to see where I might find some of the whenever the ducks come migrating through, things like that.
Nice.
And to try to do that and just try to expand.
Yep. You definitely have a talent and an eye for it. That's for sure.
Pretty much self-taught.
Yep.
I did have a couple photographers that worked for the Army Corps of Engineers that taught me how to get started in their stuff.
Yep.
Whenever they were closing down their photography departments there in Huntington, and they worked with me, and as a 25-year-old kid, and I went on to been for 38 years now doing Corps work.
Man, that's crazy.
Yeah, and it's taken me to a lot of places. I've been from Alaska to Hawaii, from Maine to Florida, South Florida, and a lot in between.
Yeah. Well, we sure appreciate your time this evening, and thanks for telling your story and telling us about some of the things that you're working on.
Well, guys, I appreciate it. If I can do anything for y'all, let me know, and I'll send you a couple of those pictures that the ones that I kind of like the best.
Okay,
right
sounds
on.
good. Yeah, we'll definitely share those on our page.
All right, guys, I appreciate it.
All right,
Yes, sir.
Mark.
Thank you, Mark.
Thanks.
Have a good
Thank
evening.
You too.
All right, guys, thanks for listening this evening. Thanks for watching the live. We'll have all the links and stuff that we talked about there in the description once our episode airs.
Hey, guys, don't forget to check out naturesvoicegamecalls.com. Use podcast 15 at checkout for 15% off your entire order. We know you're going to order still this summer. There's a lot of time left for it. Check out woodbaitcountry.com and use On the Limb promo code and get 10% off your order. Some great custom handmade balsa bait from Bassmaster Champion Cliff Pace.
Yep. Be sure to check us out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts. Have a great evening, everyone. Podcast with Nature's Voice Game Calls is brought to you by Webb Plumbing Incorporated, located at 6202 McCorkle Avenue, St. Albans, West Virginia. Webb Plumbing Incorporated has had master plumbers and HVAC specialists established and serving the Knoll Valley since 1994. 30 years of commercial and residential service that you can trust. Contact Webb Plumbing today at 304-768-4324 for a free estimate or quote today. You can also visit them on the web at webbplumbing.net. Contact Webb Plumbing Incorporated today at 304-768-4324.